Hi, and welcome to What to Expect from a Rights Management System. My name is Jim Ayler, and I manage various product lines here at Imagine Communications, including our rights and scheduling application, which is used in several large broadcasting operations throughout the world. With the value of media content estimated at more than $500 billion, media organizations want to squeeze every ounce of value out of their content investment. It's never been more challenging to achieve this objective for several reasons. First, programming deals are very sophisticated. They can include multiple platforms, multiple languages, multiple channels, and cover different geographic regions. Second, the cost of quality content is going up, but consumers want to pay less. Third, nonlinear content viewing is continuing to rise. In fact, TV content viewing in a nonlinear fashion is expected to hit 50% this year. So what does a media company do to prevent leaving money on the table? Clearly, they want to apply every monetization opportunity that they can. They want to plug every revenue leak. They want to avoid additional costs associated with infringing on program licensing. And they also want to fully track program rights to ensure that all available rights can be exploited. To meet these objectives, media companies must have a technology solution that allows them to thrive when both programming rights and scheduling requirements are complex. Let's start by defining what should be expected in a complete and rigorous rights management system. The rights management system must be a tightly integrated set of functions revolving around the content's licensing terms. These terms include where, when, and how programming content can be used. A fully integrated scheduling function is also a must-have to ensure compliance with licensing requirements. With licensing terms serving as the core, several supporting functions are needed, such as 1, payment schedules. This defines and tracks when program payments should be made, such as on the delivery of content. Second, business rules describes when and how content can be used. Third, delivery schedules. This includes defining the schedule of acceptance criteria and the workflow for schedule approval. Fourth, deal management manages the program deals themselves, which means securing approval and potentially updating a deal with an addendum or an extension. Fifth, planning. Planning provides the capacity to schedule programming in collaboration with the programming rights. This is important to not only align with programming requirements, but the state of the rights inventory is needed to determine future content requirements. Also, for a complete rights management system, planning must include both linear and nonlinear programming. Sixth, integration. A rigorous and complete integration layer for seamless integration to third-party tools, especially integration with the broadcaster sales system, is a must. Seventh, reporting. A complete reporting system that enables organizations to monitor financial conditions and stay in alliance with program contracts. And eighth, finance. Used to record payments, assigning costs to channels, and program amortization. Let's look at the rights portion first and then discuss scheduling. The core of the solution, licensing terms, is one of the more challenging aspects of a system. It's important that rights are captured in a way that accurately reflects the terms of their agreement, which defines what programming can run, where it can run, when it can run, and how. The main challenge is that these agreements can involve numerous moving parts, such as channel, platform, territory, region, format, and language. Each of these can be thought of as a different dimension within a different hierarchy, which can vary depending on client and market. Let's go through some examples ranging from simple to complex to illustrate the challenge. A simple example would be managing rights by channel group and channel. Channel groups are typically organized by territories. The channels within the group then distribute that content to those territories. Single territory, multi-platform. In this example, a single territory would have a dimension based on platform. This would be cable, satellite, mobile, and include type of rights. This could be free-to-air, subscription, type of content acquired, SD, HD, UHD, and based on those formats, the available languages. Multi-territory, multi-platform. The first dimension is territory, and within territory there are multiple platforms, and within each platform there are different rights types, such as free-to-air and subscription. Another example is a global broadcaster who could have multiple regions, such as Europe, North America, South America, and different dimensions for territory. In one territory, they could, for example, supply HT content only. Within territory, there could be additional dimensions for the platform and right type and language. Our last example is franchise or brand. In this case, the first dimension is franchise or brand, and those are broken out by territory and then further by rights type and other dimensions. Imagine is handling the hierarchy and dimensional relationships illustrated in the previous examples using a new feature called the rights matrix. The first step before using the rights matrix is to define relationships. These relationships are used when specifying terms on a programming contract. Here are a few examples how this is done. The first screen is establish dimension groups. In this case, the first one is territory and ranges from all territories to a specific territory name. The others in the dimension group include rights, brand, channel group, and device. We'll talk about these in upcoming screens. In this screen, we selected all territory under the territory tree. This is where you can provide detail behind the territory. Here we have market area, market region, country group, country, and right type. Notice that relationships such as what countries belong to what country group are established. On the rights screen, a dimension called all rights can be broken down into a rights group. And a rights group indicates linear or on demand. A rights type, which is free, basic, and so on. A format, the dynamic range, and a brand group. Now let's briefly discuss programming contracts. The relationship established during setup are applied when defining terms on a programming contract. It's the Terms tab within the contract is where these are largely applicable. In this example, the entries at the bottom in the program titles area show the programs associated with this contract. The total plays drop-down shows the total number of plays that are applicable across the license terms. In this case, we have one entry in the license term area called default license terms. Since there's only one, the total plays for the contract match the number of plays for the licensed term. In the license term area, we can see the terms that were selected on the rights hierarchy tab. From here, we can see the market area, which is EMEA, the market region, which is Nordic, the country group, which are Denmark and Finland, countries in the country group, which were defined in setup as Denmark and Greenland, and the Finland row is selected. The rights applicable to that row are shown as selected with a check mark. Notice that we have rights for both linear and on demand, and each row is associated with one or more brands in the brand group column. The brand area, which is at the bottom, define brand restrictions which can be applied to one or more rows in the brand group column. In this example, all brands are selected, so there are no restrictions. Start and end dates define the valid period for plays, and the plays per selection indicates what level we are counting the plays. In this example, we're counting plays per country. This means that each country, Denmark, Greenland, and Finland, each have 5 plays. For an effective rights management system, the rights component must be tightly integrated with the scheduling component, which we'll discuss now. Without a tight and seamless integration, adhering to complex rights and leveraging the most from content purchases would be nearly impossible. With the greater flexibility offered by tracking rights by dimension, more sophisticated scheduling required by large media organizations is now possible. Here's an example, pan-channel feed. In this example, the media group has a single pan-channel feed that covers Australia, Indonesia, and New Zealand. Whenever content is scheduled, the system ensures that rights are available for all of these territories on their designated platforms. Later, for example, it's decided that Indonesia will have its own separate feed because they can schedule content at a time that's better suited for their audience, which results in better advertising revenue. This can be accomplished by creating a channel-specific feed for Indonesia and modifying the PAN channel feed to a multi-territory feed covering Australia and New Zealand. Because we are already allocating rights at both the territory and platform feed levels, we immediately know the state of the rights for the new Indonesian feed. In the third example, perhaps later, it may be decided that the multi-territory channel feed becomes a single channel feed now for Australia. Now, New Zealand has its own channel feed. Then, through a rights adjustment, Australia, Indonesia, and New Zealand will consume rights that are applicable for their individual countries. With the growing complexity of programming rights, it's critical that they are accurately captured and fully implemented to gain maximum return on the content investment. Every under and overutilization of these rights can cost media organizations significant revenue. To avoid such losses, media organizations must deploy and maintain a technology solution that capture the multi-dimensional characteristics of programming contracts, are adaptable to accommodate rapid changes in program delivery to territories, countries, regions, and platforms, support linear and nonlinear content delivery, are fully and tightly integrated in terms of rights management and scheduling, and are maintained and supported by long-term and reputable suppliers. Thank you for watching, and please reach out to us today if you are interested in identifying a successful and profitable rights management system for your organization.